Hello guys, and today we mark 3 years since the start of Russia's unprovoked, very violent war against Ukraine. But as smart people, you have to understand that this is also 11 years since the start of the Russian invasion, when they annexed Crimea and took control over Donetsk and Luhansk regions. And this is the most vivid demonstration why appeasement is the most inappropriate strategy, why this so-called escalation management in reality is just a green light for more and more wars and conflicts around the world. I can be a little bit emotional today because that is a mixture of feelings that I have in my heart right now. Starting with pride for my people for being so brave, strong, and resilient, of gratitude for your constant support, friendship, and this amazing community that we have developed on the channel, and also a feeling of betrayal when one of our strongest allies now sides with Russia. And yes, this is my reaction to the fact that the United States representatives decided to side with Russia and like 15 other countries, Mali, Nicaragua, in their vote against Ukrainian and European United Nations resolution condemning Moscow for war in Ukraine. Something that was so transparent, so obvious, changed in the attitude of the new US administration towards brave people of Ukraine and, oh my God, so many allies around the world. 93 countries supported Ukraine's resolution. 16 did not. Among them, Russia and the United States. I could not imagine this happening last year, last month. How do I feel? I avoid using the word betrayal because that's what will make Russian trolls and bots so happy. But I'm sure you can guess. So let's look at this history of 3 years, 11 years of Ukrainian strength and resilience, and what our experience can actually teach you and warn the world. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, subscribe. We discuss all of that on the channel. And let me start with the beautiful phrase that I have encountered in one of the comments below my videos, and that is, you cannot defeat a nation that does not want to give up. No matter how hard right now the United States administration, and I'm sure you've noticed, I don't say people of the United States because I clearly feel your support and I'm very grateful for that. But the new US administration constantly persuades Ukraine that we cannot win. They hold direct negotiations with Putin and they only put tasks in front of Ukrainian nation and president, naming the deal about minerals vital and not focusing on any security guarantees or any things that Russia should be taken accountable for. This is, of course, very wrong, and I am 100% sure that all of these people involved in this weak, humiliating, very wrong, very pro-Russian negotiations will go down in history as the worst Americans in the 21st century. So let's start with this brief overview of the things that Russia did to my country, to other countries that were once cursed to be a part of the USSR, and why it is a danger not just for Europe, but also for all the world. First of all, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, many former republics started building their lives. And we actually demonstrated economic growth, cultural growth, and most importantly, we have started copying the best practices from all democracies. And that is why Ukraine, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland became so successful. We were not perfect, but we were a good example that you can go through your very traumatic communist experience. And Russia hated it. They did not have any development. It was just a constant collapse and only selling their resources. And this myth of Russia as an empire, Russia as a superpower, is only possible with countries like Ukraine, for its resource base, for brains and everything. And that is why early in the 90s, they have started the project of the reconstruction of the USSR. And of course, we objected. And at first, their wars against Ukraine were hybrid. Interference in the elections, funding of pro-Russian parties, total dominance on the media market, TV, pushing various laws that would popularize Russian and not Ukrainian content, blocking us from developing trade, cultural relations with Europe or the United States, trying to stop NGOs from growing, and so on and so forth. Please be careful, because very similar things are happening right now, not just in the former Soviet Union countries, but we observe open Russian interference into the elections in Germany, in Romania, and I'm sure in the United States. It may be that this BS, what is happening right now in Washington, is the consequences of Russia's very deep interference into the elections of the United States. It's my opinion, you may disagree, I do not claim it, but it feels like that. So first, Russia acts in this hybrid format, and we experienced that in 2000s. And Maidan was not a coup, it was a reaction to the fact that Russia funded, supported pro-Russian parties, and at the moment of Maidan revolution, actually 3 of the top politicians in Ukraine were Russian citizens. Just take a pause and think about that. 3 most influential Ukrainian politicians with positions, state positions, were Russians, including Prosecutor General and Minister of Defense. This what led to the protests, same as prevention of Ukraine's integration with the European Union. That is what we constantly stand for. Please subscribe if you support Ukraine's integration to Europe and if you support friendship between Ukraine and the United States and not between the United States and Russia. And share these videos to help to debunk Russian lies and now Trump's misinformation. So please be careful, because similar hybrid wars Russia already conducts against your countries. And they are not limited to, the Baltics, Poland. They are literally everywhere. And trust me, Russia is to blame for many of the political conflicts and chaos that you have in your countries, and you do not connect it with them. Then in 2014, they annexed Crimea and invaded Donetsk and Luhansk regions. We were prepared to defend Crimea. It was the easiest task out of all the future, because Crimea is a peninsula and it was really easy to cut them access and to actually destroy them. Moreover, at that moment in history, Russia was afraid. And they said these are just green people. They did not demonstrate any Russian recognition signs, and it was super easy to defend the peninsula. But the message came, including from the Washington, let's not escalate. Let's sign some agreements. Russia will have these territories. You may not recognize them, but you will save people. Please understand the language of dictators, bloodthirsty people like Putin. They see weakness. They see this escalation management as green light and inability of democratic leaders to defend international law. And only because of that weakness, only because of 2014 appeasement, they started their full-scale invasion against Ukraine in 2022. Now, many say it is about NATO. Tell me, please, what was the operation that NATO developed against Russia? When were NATO supposed to attack? I'm sure you know this is total BS. NATO is a defensive alliance. Ukraine is a free country. There was never an agreement between the USSR and the United States that NATO cannot expand, because NATO countries and NATO leadership are free to choose. Russia does not have any influence, but it seems like Russia now controls NATO, and that is very worrisome. So it's obvious for any clever person that the only reason why Russia opposes Ukraine joining NATO is that it cannot invade and continue killing us when we are a NATO country. The border of Russia with NATO became like more than 1,000 kilometers longer when, inspired by our resilience and our experience, Finland and Sweden joined NATO, and I congratulate brave people of these countries for a new level of security they received. And Russia did not do anything because it is afraid of NATO so far. But unfortunately, seeing the weakness of President Trump, and it's nothing else, I am not sure NATO will look that terrifying for Russia anymore. And I am sure those of you who follow the channel remember my videos, know a lot of examples of Russian war crimes against Ukraine. Our destroyed infrastructure, destroyed lives, thousands of killed people. But no, don't tell me, stop the dying. I hate this phrase because it does not have any deep context and understanding of the situation behind it. It's just like telling people in the concentration camp to stop dying. Don't you know what Russia does on the territories it controls? It keeps killing and torturing Ukrainians. It mobilizes them into Russian army, taking away their children and making them go in this meat grinders and other stuff. This is exactly what will happen to other Ukrainian territories if this peace deal, I hate the name, will be signed. Because it's not about deal, it's about trustworthy security guarantees for a very brave country, and most importantly, a way to stop further Russian aggression to other countries. Trust me, I am Ukrainian. Back in 2014, I could not imagine they can annex any of Ukrainian territories. In 2022, I could not imagine the full-scale war was possible with aviation, with missiles. It all seemed like stories from the Second World War. Tank battles in Ukraine, come on. But now, 3 years after the start of this full-scale invasion, this is all that we experience on a daily basis. And oh my God, dear friends in Europe, it may seem impossible now, but it is very likely if Donald Trump keeps appeasing Russia, encouraging Russia, and praising Russia. A reminder, it was Japan that attacked the United States in 1941. It was Al-Qaeda that attacked the United States in 2001. You did not provoke them. It was crazy people who did that to you. And the same happened to Ukrainians, first in 2014 and then in 2022. I think it's okay to stop the support, but I think it is very wrong to substitute the reality, to repeat bloody Russian lies in the faces of brave Ukrainian people. And I think this is a very humiliating day in the life of the world, when the United States sides with Russia, not supporting Ukrainian resolution in the United Nations, simply blaming Russia for this aggression. Something very wrong is happening in this world. And trust me, by sacrificing Ukraine, you will not stop the appetites of Putin. He will not lose anything. He will just get another encouragement. Sorry, I am sometimes worried that people like Trump, people like Putin, and people like Xi think that they can divide the world and make us live in their kingdoms. Ukrainians will not accept that. I hope you will not accept that too. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity, and please support the campaign with Ukraine AIDS operation. We decided to prolong it a little bit more, and we are super grateful for the support that we receive from you. Here I connect the link too. So I need to remind you, most of the Ukrainian cities are okay. People live, work, study in them. People want to live in their homes just as me. Also, Europe supports Ukraine just as the United States, and we are grateful for all of you, and for Australia and Africa and Latin America, all the countries that support us. And there is no evidence, no real evidence, apart from some pro-Russian propagandists talking about them, of misuse of the military aid that we received. And honestly, I could not imagine that I will have to explain such things after the 3 years of Ukrainian bravery and Ukrainian success. And I hope that JD Vance, Waltz, Rubio and Trump will stop saying that Russia cannot be defeated, so we have to agree on everything that Russia wants. No one will accept that in Ukraine, and it seems like no one will accept that in Europe. And I'm very grateful and proud of that. And I know that many people in the United States do not accept that too. Please, let's remain united. You cannot imagine how hard it feels on such an anniversary to learn that US sides with Russia in the United Nations. 93 countries support Ukraine, including like some that are a little bit pro-Russian, and only 16, including Russia and USA, do not. Actually, China did not vote against. China remained like not voting. China did not vote against, and the United States together with Russia. Guys, something very bad is happening. The only thing that makes me feel comfortable is that here in Ukraine we stand very firm. No one will ever accept appeasement of Russia. No one will ever forgive this unpunished evil, and we clearly know that we need to end this war with the defeat and severe punishment of Russia. It is possible. We have destroyed their oil refining industry. We have neutralized soon 1 million of their people just because they decided to break the law. And we now control Kursk region. Guys, you watched all my videos. Why do they want to break Ukrainian spirit? And no, not Russians. JD Vance. They will go down in history as really bad people. I have that feeling. And sometimes I'm also very worried for the world. If we do not care about law and right, and we focus on this like violence, then many countries and many people are in trouble. And Ukraine is prepared to stand firm against that. And we kinda need a team. So join us and join the community of the channel if you're new. Please support Ukraine in your countries, demonstrate that support, write to your representatives, go out on rallies, wear t-shirts, whatever you choose. This is very important right now. I did not think we will need to persuade the United States that freedom is worth fighting for and that Russia is an aggressor. But we need to remind them. Join me on X, I'm fighting there. Join me on Blue Sky, the community is growing on Instagram and also on Threads, and we have a good Discord community. Thank you so much for all the kind messages that I receive, especially today. Let me know in the comments below, why do you think the United States decided to side with Russia during this United Nations resolution voting? I really want to know your opinion. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. I value that a lot. Also, check our merch shop for lots of good items that remind about Ukraine, our fight and resilience, and can actually help you be more visible if you choose to support us openly, and that means a lot, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And trust me, Ukrainians are stronger than they think. And it may be that the task of Ukraine is not just to defeat Russia, but to defeat the evil plans of Donald Trump. We are prepared. We don't have any other choice, and we are always stronger than they think. Slava Ukraini!